Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to Signal Interrupted. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Over at least 2 weeks. I mean, we ain't been taking a break, chilling, trying to get stuff back resetted. But today we got a special episode for y'all. We got my man, Preacher Man, in here. How you doing, man? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Glad to be here.
Sir, yes, sir. Well, it's an honor because you are our first special guest, so it's an honor for you to be here, man.
All right.
Can y'all hear him?
Yeah, I can hear him. Can you? Can
Corey,
you
can
hear
you
him?
hear him?
I can't hear
Yeah,
him.
let me know. Like I said, if you put a thumbs up or something. I'm new to this platform and I got my headset in, so hopefully you guys can hear me.
Yeah, I think cause some like I said, it be tweaking sometimes.
Okay.
Can you hear him?
We just ride it out. Let's roll with it.
All right, yeah, cause it still pick up the audio even though y'all can't hear each other, or if I can, it just join back and stuff. But
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So last week we pretty much got into what was it? We was on music. So last week we pretty much talked about music. How is it affected in the Black community? How big is it impacted our youth and pretty much anywhere and every goes. And we just talked about who's your favorite female, male, and what type of project that put you on. So what type of music you like, Preacher Man? What type of music that you get you groovy?
Man, I listen to some of everything, man. So just to recognize, like I said, I'm 55, man. So I've been around for a while. So, when hip hop first came out in the 70s, I was definitely in it. I still like my R&B. I play a little bit of guitar. So, I stick to mostly music that I can hear the instruments and kind of jump in with my guitar and kind of play some things that are computer generated. I don't listen to as much as far as just everyday listening, but I'm good with it.
Yeah, my audio is tweaking. Hold on. You gonna have to.
Yeah, I'm just left out too.
Look, can you hear me though?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Yeah, Nick's trying to chime back in.
All right, it seems yeah, because every time, all right, no more leaving, because every time somebody leave, it messes my mic up. All right, so yeah, what was you saying again? Because I couldn't hear you. So,
Yeah, I
like,
was just saying, man. I listen to all kind of music, man. Like I said, I was born in '70s, man. So like I said, I listen to all the rap since it started in '70. I do a lot of R&B. Like I said, I play guitar, so I usually listen to music that I can listen to and hear the different instruments and kind of chime in with my guitar. So that's mostly the kind of stuff I listen to. But it could be anything. I don't care if it's country, rap, funk. I do it all.
no, that's good. That's good to hear. So, who would you say is like your go-to? Like, you turn on some music. Who's your go-to?
Man, that's hard to say. There's so many artists out here. Um, Eric Roberson has been a good one for me. Me a little old school R&B. Um, let's see. I've been listening to her lately. She got a lot of good acoustic sound. So I play a lot of that on my guitar. But I'm still an old school Prince fan. I definitely do George Clinton and BB King. 'Cause like I said, I like to hear the instruments and the horns and all that stuff when I play. So yeah, I still listen to that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, because like I said, I like to listen to various genres too. Because like I said, the music, the instruments, it all puts it together, and I like to hear like what's all putting this music together, what makes it the sound, like what makes it the way it is. So
Yeah.
yeah, pretty interesting. So yeah, we just want to talk about today. We're gonna get to the topic. Like I said, today is about you. So we just want to pretty know what much. Like I told them that you was in the Buffalo Soldiers, like my granny. So I just want to know, how pretty much your upbringings in life, and then how did you get to the Buffalo Soldiers, and what's your role in that?
Okay. So I'll tell people right away, man. Like I said, it's interesting, man. At my age, I have probably done a lot more and been involved in so many things. I can't go into it all, but in a nutshell, there's nothing that you guys are talking about that surprises me that I have not been involved in or had something to do with in my lifetime. I grew up in New York City in the projects. My parents sacrificed and sent me to private school. So my brother and I wound up playing football and getting a couple of college degrees and doing the things that we do. But I've had pretty much every job you could think of. Uh, I still like to live life, so I'm an outdoors guy. I fish, I ride motorcycles. I'm in a fraternity, so I just put some ribs on the smoker before I came up here. So, I'm always doing something. Um, so, like I said, I'm just interested to hear, what you guys are dealing with in life, man. Anything I could help you with. I have two sons that are 21 and 23, trying to do the college thing or finish the college thing and find their way. So I know a little bit about what you guys are going through and may be able to provide some insight. But there's no way I can go through the whole litany of stuff that I've done. But I will tell you, nothing you bring up will surprise me or cause me to judge or just say that, I know nothing about it. I know a little bit about some everything.
That's real. That's real. That's real for sure. For sure. But yeah, we like I said, like I was telling you, like I said, pretty much we just using this platform, like pretty much to give people another space to talk about anything, not just sports, because we just not one dimensional on podcast. We got to talk about everything, what's going on in the world, what's going on us as people, what's going on within ourselves, because it's too much to talk about. It's too much stuff going on here for not to talk about it.
Yeah, so our country is pretty much at war as of this morning, and that's a lot to weigh on your brain. Like I said, I've been alive long enough to where a lot of my friends went to Desert Storm. I got a lot of friends that are veterans or still enlisted. So it's a whole lot of feelings, man. This guy that we have in office really has a real lack of character, a lack of integrity. And Martin Luther King said all we wanted to do was be judged by the content of our character more than the color of our skin, but that applies both ways. I expect my white brothers to also have some level of character and not assume they could do whatever based on the color of their skin.
No, that's definitely for sure, for sure. Because honestly, I don't see how they let a felon be in office, but they want to hold anybody else accountable for what crimes they commit.
Yeah. And that's just a double standard. Like I said, they could care less about his character. As long as he's white and he's on our side, we'll let him do whatever he wants to do.
No, that's real. That's real. But yeah, so let's talk about these Buffalo Soldiers, man, because these boys don't know nothing about that. So I try to get somebody who
Okay.
really in it and experience it besides me, because I'm on the outside. I'm on the outside.
All right. So like I said, so far as Buffalo Soldiers goes, man, it's a motorcycle club that's mostly military and law enforcement guys. We ride in honor of the original Buffalo Soldiers. They started in 1866, right after the, or during the war, or kind of right after. So most of you know that when they freed the slaves, they offered the slaves, 3 meals a day and a salary if they would join the military. So a lot of them did and fought for their freedom. And then after the war was over, they said, well, you guys can stay full time. So in 1866, they started an all black regiment and they called them, it was just really the 19th Cavalry. So, but the Indians gave them the name Buffalo Soldiers because they said, man, these guys fight fierce. They got woolly hair like the buffalo that we're used to hunting. So they really nicknamed us the Buffalo Soldiers, as the Indians did, just based on our fighting style and our ability to handle adversity. So it's really a nickname, but if you go back in time, you won't actually find, like I said, necessarily Buffalo Soldiers. Eventually, people kind of followed that name, but we originally were just cavalry, as far as officers go, and the military men. So what finally got me to Buffalo Soldiers, man, is I am a history buff. I like hearing about history. So when I first joined it, it was just about learning history. But then I also joined Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, and I came to the understanding that, at some point, the Buffalo Soldiers always had white officers. So there was a time in, I believe it was 1914, they took all of the scholars from black schools like Hampton and Howard and all those different places said we're gonna make them officers in the military, and they had a what they call a Camp Howard War Camp, and they took all those young men and trained them how to be officers so that they could be officers in the military and be in charge of the Buffalo Soldiers. So two of the founding members of Omega Psi Phi were Buffalo Soldiers. So that kind of made it full circle for me. So I don't know, you guys, I think some of you guys are in college. You know, you guys have probably seen fraternity brothers on campus. You see them wearing the gold boots and the fatigues and stuff like that. But most of it comes from that military background because that camp allowed us to improve the threat and grow. But then our second honorary member, Charles Young, was in the military. And so I always tell people one of the reasons why we wear the gold boots is he died with his boots on and trying to exemplify perseverance. And at some point, you know, we took his boots and dipped them in gold and left them at the gravesite. So that's part of our history. So everything about Buffalo Soldiers for me, man, is just a thing of how to honor our history and know that no matter what happened during slavery, our people have been fighting for equality and justice and been on the front lines from the beginning of the end of slavery till now, whether it's been wearing a uniform, whether it's been for voting rights, whether it's been for, you know, just protesting in the streets. You know, right now they had the funeral for Jesse Jackson yesterday. You know, he was on the front lines. He was also one of my fraternity brothers in Omega Psi Phi. You know, when I was growing up, I didn't know nothing about fraternities, man. But when I started looking into history, you know, I found out that Martin Luther King was an Alpha, that Jesse Jackson was an Omega, and then the other young fella was a Sigma, the one from Georgia that died recently, the short fella. I can't remember his name, but all of those guys had a pivotal role in the civil rights movement. And a lot of the people that were in the civil rights movements were veterans that came back from war and were Buffalo Soldiers. So I would say now they used to ride horses. And so we consider our motorcycles as iron horses. And we ride to promote the history of Buffalo Soldiers and educate people about what Buffalo Soldiers did back in the day. And our counterpart would be considered to be the Rough Riders. I don't know if you've seen them on the road. They got a big R on their back. But Rough Riders were the other component of the military that got started after the Buffalo Soldiers, just like the Tuskegee Airmen. And, you know, they got their claim to fame because when Teddy Roosevelt rode from D.C. to California, he says, there's no way I'm going cross country or going to California. Let those Rough Riders escort me across the country because they have the clout with the Indians and I know they're going to fight and keep me alive until I get back to D.C. So a lot of the old motorcycle clubs, they're actually named after military groups like Rough Riders and Buffalo Soldiers, Tuskegee Airmen, and then, you know, Wheels of Soul, some of those different ones. They're all based on military and history.
That's definitely some great piece of information because I did not know that some of the founders of Q's was a Buffalo Soldier. I didn't know that until now.
Yeah, two of them. You know, but yeah, so you know, like I said, I just try to promote history, man, and talk to people because they say, you know, if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. So, you know, we have to know. Like people say, why you join the military, man? It's the white man's army. No, it's always been something that we have been involved in since the Civil War, and we've always displayed excellence. You know, the past couple of Joint Chiefs of Staff, you know, the first black generals and all those things, man, those guys were doing great things back in the early 1900s.
It's great. Yeah, that's awesome because, like I said, not a lot of people know this stuff. They need to know this stuff.
Yeah. Hey, man, I know y'all heard about the Tuskegee Airmen and some of those other ones, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So like the Tuskegee Airmen, a lot of them were younger brothers and nephews of Buffalo Soldiers. They said we could do the same thing with the Air Force. So most of the guys that were recruited for Tuskegee Airmen was because their family had a background in the Buffalo Soldiers, so they already understood military discipline. They already understood a lot of things about the military. So those are the ones they recruited for Tuskegee Airmen. So you'll find there's people like Benjamin O. Davis Sr. He was a Buffalo Soldier, but then his son, Benjamin Davis Jr., was like the first colonel in the Air Force and a Tuskegee Airmen. So, like I said, they tried to recruit young men that already had family history in the military to become Tuskegee Airmen. And just like the Buffalo Soldiers, Tuskegee Airmen was a big experiment. You know, they took them all down to Alabama, and they had this airfield, and they was trying to teach them how to fly, but they kept it out of the public eye. They didn't want to see them, you know, fail or succeed. And it was actually, I think it was Teddy Roosevelt's wife. She was the one that said they deserve a chance to be able to have an opportunity to fly. And I think that they will be great at it. So, you know, the other thing I always say too is, you know, we talk a lot about women, man, but a lot of times women are behind the scenes making things happen for us, and we need to honor that.
Most definitely, because I feel like without no women, there ain't no us.
Exactly, exactly. You know,
Yeah.
but like I said, you know, there's a lot that I could talk about, man. Like I said, I tell people I grew up in the projects in Brooklyn, New York, so I know what it's like to live in a big city. My parents moved to Fayetteville and Rayford, North Carolina, which is a small town. My parents didn't have a lot. My dad's a mechanic. My mom was working as a secretary, but they decided to have one car and send my brother and I to private school when we were younger. Um, like I said, I've done so many things, man, between playing football and like I said, I've had every job you could think of, you know, from delivering newspapers, working in factories and plants, you know, trying to get myself through school. And then, like I said, now I'm an architect. I've been doing that for over 25 years. I've been in business for myself. I've worked in corporate. I've done just a myriad of things, man, that have allowed me to impact a lot of people and have a say so in how I mentor people. I'm really a preacher. Like I said, I am an ordained minister, so I have married a lot of my line brothers. Unfortunately, during the pandemic, I did a lot of funerals, um, and I do a lot with men and young men's ministries. I take young men camping, teach them how to grill, how to use firearms, all kind of stuff. So I don't know if y'all can see behind me is some of my paintings. So I do painting, kind of freehand acrylic or oil paintings. I play guitar. Like I said, I'm very creative. So I do a lot of different things to keep myself not only busy, but keep myself in a level of sanity. You know, um, I keep a quote on my two quotes on my computer. One of them is James Baldwin. There was a quote that he did back in the 70s. He said, in order to be black in America and have some level of sanity, you have to live in a constant state of rage. So one of the things you guys are dealing with is all the things around you and surround you can make you angry every day, but you got to be able to live with that anger, but still be able to have some level of sanity. So I keep that one on there. And then the other one is TD Jakes. He always says all you have to do is win. To win is make your mind and your body line up with the rhythm you feel in your soul. One thing as black men is we have a rhythm, we have a pace, we have ideas, but they seem to be minor in compared to what's going on in the world. But God created us to have a vision and a creativity that's like nobody else. You are a unique individual. So you don't have to kind of do what everybody else does to win. All you have to do is convince your mind and your body to live up to whatever you feel on the inside. You know, and if you live to what's true on the inside, the world has to make a way for you. You know, God said, I gave a gift to every man and it'll make room for him in the earth and bring him before great men. Believe it or not, the world has to bend to your will if you are confident enough in whatever it is you're doing.
The old way.
So don't wait for the world to give you permission. Do what you do and make the world adapt to you.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely wise wisdom. That's definitely wise wisdom. I love to hear that. I love to hear that
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm sorry. That was hard.
Yeah,
That was
we
dope.
got two
That was
unks in
dope.
here. We got two unks in here. That's the original unk, and then
That
we
was
got
dope. I ain't heard that one before. I ain't
Yeah,
heard that one
but it
before. That
comes
was
in
dope.
time,
I ain't
man.
gonna
Like
lie
I
to you.
said,
That was
yeah, I'm 55, man. So like I said, I've gone through a lot, man. So I always tell young men, man, believe in yourself. Always count on you. Always bank on you. And then lastly, man, don't give up to the end because you never know what life's gonna bring you, man. When I was growing up in the projects, man, we was having government cheese and peanut butter. My parents had, one car and a regular job. It's like, are we always gonna live in the projects? Are we ever gonna do anything different? And then to finally get 2 college degrees. I've been married twice and I got 6 kids, right now. I watch all of them do what they do. You know, I've bought a couple of houses, cars, motorcycles. I've been able to live a full life and I'm still having fun at it. But you got to hang on to see what
yeah,
the
no
end's going
doubt.
to be. You can't quit at 20. You can't decide, oh, I'm never going to be anything
No
at
doubt.
20 because you really never know.
anything can happen at any
It's
time.
true.
Anytime.
That's true.
Anytime.
So yeah, man. What branch? What branch of the military you was in?
I was in none. Like I said, I'm a history buff. My parents moved to Fayetteville, North
Okay.
Carolina, home of Fort Bragg and Pope Air Force Base, and so I had a lot of friends in the military. But I just like the discipline and the integrity that military guys have, and I support them in whatever they do.
No doubt. No doubt. No
So
doubt.
you growing up in the
Okay.
projects and all that, what motivated you to become a better person and get out of the
Uh, mostly, mostly reading, man, reading and dreaming. My parents used to make me do a book report or two every summer. Every
Mhm.
summer they had me reading books. And I still have some of those books on my library, but I remember reading about Martin Luther King. I had a couple of his books. Um, I read some books about architecture and about I don't know. It was just different things, but I used to dream all the time about the house I wanted to have, the cars I wanted to have. I used to put these paintings on the wall, like a mansion with like 5 cars. I just
Yeah.
always felt like I was going to do something different. But realistically, man, my father has been the biggest influence in my life and he's still living. I'm thankful for God to that. But my dad was always a man of very few words. But when he spoke volumes. There used to be this commercial that came on that said when E.F. Hutton speaks, everybody listens. My cousins and everybody used to say that about my dad because he was so quiet. But when he spoke, he told you everything you needed to know.
Mhm.
Um, there were times when I was growing up that he would just instill little things into me, like, if you're going to do something, do it 100%. He'd be working on a car and he'd be like, he would put the oil filter on and do stuff and then wipe it off. And he would say, if I work on your car, when I leave, it should look like I was never there. It should look like it still came from the factory. And I'd be like, what, why are you wiping off the oil filter? It's oil. It's going to be dirty anyway.
Mhm.
you
Right.
know, he would tell me little stuff that I still do today. Like if I go to a meeting or if I go to a function like I did at the church this morning, I'll put on a shirt, sometimes a tie and a jacket. Because he would tell me, you could always dress down, but you can't dress up. He said, if you get to a meeting and everybody got a jacket on and you showed up in a t-shirt, you out of luck.
Mhm.
If you show up in a jacket and a shirt and everybody got t-shirts on, guess what? You take the jacket and the shirt off on and you fit in. He said,
Mhm.
but you can dress down, but you can't dress up.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
No
my,
doubt.
my dad,
No
my dad
doubt.
was always dropping them little nuggets, man. Even when I decided to start having kids, I was panicking. And my dad said, all you got to know is one thing: are you gonna let the child go hungry? I said no. He said that's all you need to know. He said if you could tell me you never gonna let that child go hungry, you're gonna work, you're gonna dig ditches, you're gonna do whatever you got to do to make sure that child has what it needs. So my thing has been I always need to strive for excellence in whatever I do. My dad said, I don't care what you do for a living, son, just make sure you're excellent at it. And the one thing he told me that I tell my sons, the one thing that's guaranteed is you got to work for a living. So the only difference is whether you like it or not and how much you get paid. So don't worry about you're gonna always have to have a job, but find something you like doing and
No
something
doubt.
that pays you enough to live the life you want to live. But you gotta work because you gotta eat.
No doubt.
No facts, especially in this
No doubt.
economy. Ain't no place, no such thing as not working.
Yeah. And for you young guys, like I said, I always try to strive for excellence. And when I saw that I didn't have certain things, I would always link up with somebody that had it. So, like you guys are doing, I always found mentors. I always found people that were, when I was playing football, I found the best football player I knew when I was in that time. Like, yo, how you get to college, how you get to NFL. If that guy was running on the weekends, I was running with him on the weekends. you know, but I started doing
Mm-hmm.
architecture and going to
Mm-hmm.
school. And they were drawing and building models and stuff like that on the weekends. That's what I was doing. I wasn't out hanging out. I was like, I got to figure out how to make this happen. And then even in my life now, one of the things I always live by is I always tell people, you got to have three tiers of people. I'm 55, but I still need to have a mentor that's above me. I need to have a confidant that's on my level, and I need to reach back and talk to somebody that's coming up. And as long as you do that, you'll always be in the know because you guys will tell me about things that you're going through that I don't know anything about. The guys on my level can help me with the things that I'm going through. And then the guys above me can let me know, hey, don't sweat the small stuff, man. You still got 20 years to get where I'm getting, and you're going to be good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's
That's
fact.
crazy.
Yep.
What?
It
So, like I said, keep finding
What?
some mentors, man, and keep talking to people, man.
Mhm.
I'm 55 now. When I was your age and I was first getting in architecture, I was mad because I said they wasn't paying me enough. They wasn't doing this. One of my mentors told me to shut up and just do the work. He said, you're going to make the most money in your life between 35 and 55. Between 25 and 35, learn how to do it and make the mistakes on their dime because they got to pay for it when you make a mistake. He said, but after that, when you get to be 35, you'll start making the money and you'll have the experience to do whatever you want to do. So right now, just find some mentors, listen to what they got to say, and put the work in.
Sure.
So it's about putting that work
Yeah,
in.
I think, man. I think I
Oh, this is
told. I think
really key.
I told them that a couple years ago. I told them that a couple weeks ago. I'm a little older than them or whatnot, but I told the other 4 or 5 guys. I told them exactly what you just said, man. Like I'm 37. They all like 20, 21, somewhere around there, 22. So I told them the same thing what you just said. Like, man, get some mentors, man. Get somebody a little older than y'all. I always kind of had somebody around me that was a little older than me. 5 or 10 years older. Like now, man, my mentors your age. They 50, 55 years old. I got about 6 of them. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
and when they
yeah,
talk, this is how you sit and talk. I sit and listen. You know what I mean? So I soak up all the game I can, and in turn, I reach back and I throw it back down to them. You know what I mean? Because they,
yeah,
10 or 15 years behind me. So, uh, I think it's pretty dope. That's a pretty dope cycle to me, man. You know what I mean? Like I don't gatekeep. Uh, Anything I can do to help somebody coming behind me, I'm gonna do that. So, but I did tell these guys like, man, hey, get y'all some older cats, man, that y'all can kind of talk to or whatnot. Just soak up the game. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm
yeah.
20 and somebody's 45, that mean they done been around the block twice. You know what I mean? Once more than I have anyway. Uh, so yeah, man, I was just telling them that a couple weeks ago. That's crazy that you say that. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's a coincidence
Yes.
that you say that you exactly what you're saying now. I was saying it like 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And like I said, and I like talking to you guys because you guys help me to see what's going in the world. So I had lunch with both of my sons yesterday. Like I said, they 23 and 21. And I know that things are changing, like, as far as college degrees, as far as AI, what you guys are looking at as far as, what they call it, gig economy and stuff like that. So my big thing is I keep telling them to keep dreaming, man. Like it's a world economy now. You have access to billions of people on the internet and everything that you do versus when I was your age, you could only sell the people that were around you. So you don't have to
that's
have
true.
this big idea. Like Candy Crush was somebody's small idea. If you can create something small in an area that you know something about, whether it's sports, whether it's cigars, whether it's computers, and create something that you could sell for $1. All you need is a million people to buy that thing for $1. Even if it only lasts for 2 months, or if it don't go anywhere after 2 months, you already made your million. Now go ahead and dream about something else.
Yeah.
you don't have to have a lifelong career at
Yeah.
something like it was when I was growing up. I do guitars, I do motorcycles and cigars and stuff like that. I keep trying to find that little thing that I can sell on the internet, whether it's a cigar holder, a guitar pick, something that I could make for a small amount of money and sell it for $1, and then all I need is 1 million people to buy it. If next month they say they hated it, it doesn't matter. You already spent your $1, and I already made my million. Now
Right.
let me go find something else.
Yo,
For sure. For sure. Yeah, man. I don't think people think about the little man. Like when I say the little man, I mean like the small stuff that we use and touch every day that people still need like a
Yeah.
necessity. For instance,
Hmm.
like we'll say like a charger. People need these every day. The little man, it's a little
Yeah.
man though. It's not nothing too big. It's not expensive product. It's nothing, but people need chargers every day. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
this is a little man. This is a little man to me. Like the little man. Don't know about everybody think about the big man, like the real estate and the cars
Yeah. Yeah.
and land, and people think about the most expensive things in life, computers, whatever, electronics. But the little man, this is the little man. If you can sell these
Yeah.
in the stores for
Hmm.
$15, you know what I mean, and put them in every gas station, every mall, every outlet store, you're gonna make billions. This is the little man, you know what I mean? So everybody's
Yeah.
so fixated on like the big millions, the big billions, the big companies, the big shoes. That's a
Mhm.
$12 pair of shoes. Yeah, you
Yeah.
might get you're gonna make millions out there. But
Yeah.
the little man, don't nobody think about the little man. If I can just keep producing this little product and people just keep buying it and buying it and buying it and buying it every day, next thing you know, you'll look up and have a $5 billion company. And that's billion with a B.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I
necessity.
kind of think about that a
Somebody
lot,
put
like
it
the little man.
somewhere.
It's a necessity. You know what I mean? People need it
Yeah.
every day. Every day. I seen 50 Cent say just recently, just like the beginning of this week, he said he got into water. He had the water company, I think, the water product. But he walked down the aisle of the gas stations and he seen one bottle of water was for um 2.99. Then he walked down the
Right. Right.
same aisle and seen that another bottle of water was for 99 cents. And he said
Right.
the difference between these bottles of water was the price. But he said if you pour both of them in a glass, they gonna do the same thing for you. You know what I mean? So he
Yeah.
said why not get off in the water? You know what I mean? Like somebody just sold a bottle of water for 2.99. Another guy got a bottle of water for 99 cents, and he was just like, "Why not get off in the water? People need water every day. We drink water every
Yeah.
day." The little man is you know what I mean? So I think that was brilliant. A 50 Cent man. I think he sold the water company, but I think he made $100 million off that. You know what I mean? Or whatever he made. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But it's just that it's stuff we don't think about every day that we need, and it's like this man invested into a water company, a spring or whatever he did, and he made
Yeah.
hundreds of millions of dollars off of it. Water, this is water.
Yeah.
This is, you know what I mean? Now you kind of see there's so many different water companies out there nowadays. You got Essentia and all these different water, you know what I mean, smart water. But I think everybody's kind of like, it's the little man. It's the little man. Like now they got the
Yeah.
alkaline thing. You just put alkaline on a bottle, you'll make billions. Just put alkaline on. I don't know. So yeah, man.
Facts,
I just kind of
facts. Because you
I
got
just
certain
kind
type
of
of
seen
people
that
that
with 50 Cent,
like
man.
waters, man. That's what's crazy about it. People want certain type of waters, so you got to
Yeah.
really have varieties
Water,
out.
yes.
Yeah, but I would say,
So,
man, just make sure it's something you know something about. You know what I'm saying? Like
about
football
definitely.
players. You see all them football players now, they got the mouthpiece, but it's got goals and stuff on it. Or they got the tape
Mm-hmm.
under their eye and they
Mm-hmm.
got a Bible verse on it. All you got to do is figure out how to
Mm-hmm.
print that on a piece of paper and let them put the stickers on it
Paper.
or put the mouthpiece in. So if
Yep.
you play football, think about something you see every day that people would gravitate
Every
to
day.
if you just did it a little bit differently. It might be the shoelaces. It might be the
Yep.
clip on the shoelaces that keep it tied. It might
Yep.
be something small and find out to do that. There's
Small.
thousands of football players. All you need is them to buy a bunch of those and you set.
You said, oh, arm sleeve, the arm. Everybody got the arm sleeves now, or some kind of visor. You can come. It's just so many little things. Like it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I think everybody in the urban world, and don't take no offense to this. I think we all kind of aim for all of the same things. Everybody think they're gonna play ball or be a rapper or be at some kind of big content creator or some kind of big celeb, but I don't think nobody. Tyler Perry, nobody. He jumped into a lane that nobody was going to ever, never did. Like white Hollywood, L.A. They they do the filmmaking and all that, but not too many blacks was jumping into filmmaking. This man took his creative mind and put all his on paper and wrote his plays and did all that. And he even said his first play he spent like 12,000 on it, and nobody came. Like he had like 25 people come to his first play. He spent all his money on. So, but I think black people we all kind of we find we see one group of everybody doing it. It was like I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna sell it. You know what I mean? Instead of just what I mean? Finding your niche. You find your thing. You find
Yeah,
what's not what's popular. You find what you like. You know what I mean? Like, and you create your own lane. Not, you create your own
yeah,
lane. So, uh, I, I, I would like to see more of that in the urban world, man. Like, more, black people kind of like create their own lane and develop their own mind, and not just kind of follow what everybody else is doing. And I think we'll have more millionaires and billionaires, black millionaires and billionaires. So,
I feel you on
yeah.
that, but I think though in our generation, people being different is corny now, bro. If you ain't doing
Man,
what
you can't.
definitely,
everybody
I
doing,
agree.
it's corny. It's corny. Or you lame.
I
You
agree. I
you
agree.
a square. Like it's crazy. But
Yeah,
me,
you got to
personally,
do
I
something
agree.
different, man.
that's
But now,
facts.
You got to do something different.
also nowadays you could do something similar to somebody, but just make your own twist to it to kind of make it your own as well, though. So I mean, it's
Yeah,
different
Definitely.
ways of things.
Definitely.
yeah. Yeah, never worry about being corny. I think that's the other thing that my dad and my uncle instilled in me was always be true to yourself, man. Whatever it is that you have, nobody else has. And if you don't give up on it, and you just keep doing what you're doing, people gonna recognize it at some point. Like I said, the world has to bend to your gift. It was given to you for a reason. Nobody expected Bill Gates to create Microsoft. I'm old enough to tell you the first computer I had was made by Sears. It was a Series don't even exist no more. It was a TRS-80, and I did like 5 pages of programming, and all the thing did was count from 1 to 100. I was like, this can't be the wave of the future. And then Microsoft came along, and it changed the whole game. So you being corny, man, don't even worry about that. Just be you, and eventually the world's gonna come to you for the thing that you have because nobody else has it.
Mhm.
No facts. That's real.
That's
That's
true.
real. But like what Fox was saying, like if everybody do something and get in their own lane, I promise you, especially us as black people, we would definitely have be more billionaires, more millionaires. Because mind you, everybody minds created in our own way. They just gotta put it to good use and stop doing what everybody else is doing, pretty much.
Yeah. So, rap music
Yeah,
probably started in
I
New
think.
York about 1976. And everybody thought, parents like, what you gonna do with this hippity hoppity stuff? It ain't gonna never amount to nothing. Now it's $1 billion,
Mhm.
out there, Jay-Z and all that stuff. You would have never thought that in 1976.
Okay. Okay.
Especially in the
That's crazy.
disco,
That's crazy.
the disco era, man. That's crazy. But like I
Yeah, that's
said, like I
crazy.
said earlier, that I wish I was born back then to experience all that stuff, especially all the fun stuff y'all got to do without phones and all this social media stuff. Cause what I'm hearing is it was pure joy. Like people was having fun every day, especially when they was going to party. Cause it felt like real fun.
Yeah,
Nobody recording. Nobody was out there trying to just do stuff for social media. I feel like everything is off for social media now, man. And then like,
yeah, yeah. And I struggle with that when I deal like when I join my fraternity, I got a lot of young fraternity brothers and they get on me sometimes and they be trying to post stuff and call me and do stuff. I'm like, dude, I didn't have my first cell phone until I was 35. I know how to live without it. When I finish my
Yeah.
workday, I throw it in the corner and I don't touch it. I don't have no need for the thing. It's a means to an end. It helps me to make money, but at the end of the day, I throw it in the corner, man. I ain't got time for that. But they grew up with it
Ain't
their
got
whole
time.
lives.
Yeah. Life. Yeah.
That's what makes it. Yeah, that's what makes it a different. Because some of these kids, they grew up and they just had straight iPad. They had straight iPhones. You know, I mean, we kind of had it both ways. We grew up with iPad, but we still had no phones and stuff. It depended on the parent though in the household. But yeah, like I said, I think feel like social media is pretty much. I mean, like I said, social media is a good way to make money, but as far as just like doing stuff outside of that, it is really a distraction.
Yeah. Yeah, and you
Yeah, the
have to get
phone
away
thing
from
killed
it,
us, man.
man.
The phone thing kind of killed us, man. I was born in the '80s, raised in the '90s. And when I was coming up, it was just everybody was just kind of so free. Like it wasn't these kind of phones nowadays. It was more like flip. We had like flip phones, but the flip phones was maybe starting to come. Nokia's. I
Yeah.
remember the big. We had the big. I don't know if I remember the big cell phones with the long antenna. I know
Yeah.
Unc, you might remember that. The big gray ones with the long antenna. I
Yeah.
remember them. We had a lot of house phones. There was a lot of house phone now. Nowadays, nobody got a house phone. Everybody
Yeah.
had a house phone, the cordless phone, but it was just it wasn't really everybody was fixated on the phone. You know, for one, I knew it was no
Yeah.
touch screens in the '90s, so you really couldn't. It was text and talking on the phone. You know what I mean? A lot of
Yeah.
pagers, a lot of two ways. I don't know. I know you may remember the pager two-way era, uh, but
Yeah.
it wasn't really a cell phone. Everybody was just kind of so your mom, the only way to contact your mom was before you leave the house. She'd say, "Hey, be in by the street lights or come in." You know what I mean?
That's
And that was
right.
your way of knowing when you had to do something or go somewhere. Like it wasn't no, she couldn't call and say, "Hey, where you at?" Like it was just, boy, you better be in this
Right.
house by 9 o'clock. You know what I mean? Like we
Yeah.
couldn't get to the house by a certain time. So
Yeah. And if
it
not,
was a certain era, man.
you had a quarter in your pocket, you could call from the payphone.
Yeah, yeah. Go to the payphone, put your 25 cents in there or whatever, and and that was it. Now there's no more pay. I don't see no more payphones nowhere. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and I wish I was kind of born. I wish I was kind of born maybe in the early '80s, so I could have got to see a lot of stuff that was happening in the '80s. 'Cause I was raised in the '90s, but
Yeah.
the '70s, '80s era, I think was a really dope time. It was a hard time maybe for Black people, but I think it was still fun. I seen some visuals, some pictures and videos. It still looked fun, man. It's like everybody was so uh just kind of free, young, having fun. Everybody, which is in real living in real time. Like now we so like everybody's
Yeah.
like this. Everybody's just like this, head
Yeah.
down and just walking head down. I tell my old lady sometime when she's out, like you sitting in parking lots and you're out and about, man, pick your head up. I know you so fixated in your phone, but if you're waiting on something,
Right.
pick
Right.
your head up sometime. Look up. Like I can walk past people's cars and see them sitting in cars. Here I am walking by and I'm looking dead at this person sitting in the car, and they just like this the whole time. They not even looking up.
Right.
I can be
Right.
anybody. And I tell my old lady and I tell people around me, my sisters, man, like, look up sometime, man. Quit, get out your phone. Look up. Look like you might be
Yeah. Yeah.
fixated, but when I'm in my when I'm out and about, I'm always kind of like my head is bouncing off every corner, like I'm always like I got to see what's going on. Like I don't get fixated in my phone because this could be my last moment right here just because I'm in my
Yeah.
phone. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think the phone was the worst thing that kind of happened to us, man, because everybody's so head down. You know what I mean? We don't even see what's going
Yeah.
on around us because we so head down. You know what I mean? So in the '80s and '90s and
Yeah.
stuff like it wasn't like that. It was just everybody was kind of in real time, living in real time, just enjoying life. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everybody didn't just
Yeah. And
go
we
to
had
their
and we had
rooms
better
and
and we had better
families.
we had better TV shows. We had better TV shows in the '80s too,
Yeah,
and that I think that's been a
so
challenge. TV used to go off at midnight, right? And it wouldn't come back on until 7 in the morning. So whatever they put on TV when the time was on, they made sure it was really good content. And I think for Black people,
hmm
the young man asked me what inspired me. I used to watch shows like The Brady Bunch, even though it was, a white TV show. The dad was an architect and he went off to work every day.
Mhm.
I used to watch, Good Times. I used to see other Black people in the
good time.
projects and their dad going to work every day. I used to watch The
Right.
Jeffersons. It showed a Black man. He had a
The
small dry
Jeffersons.
cleaning business. He was able to move to the other side of town. And then when stuff like The Cosby Show and A Different World came out, man, you couldn't tell us nothing. We got a Black man on TV that's playing a doctor. His wife is a lawyer. All his kids are going to college. Those kind of things really inspired me, back in the '80s to know that I could do a lot of stuff. And then, like I said, I learned later on, like I said, again with the fraternity, like I didn't know Bill Cosby was a member of Omega Psi Phi until I got in it. You know what I'm saying? But he did it back in the '60s, and he was making TV, whether it was the Fat Boy, what we call it, Fat Albert. All the TV shows he
Fat
did was
Albert.
about education because he wanted to be an educator, and he was teaching young people, Black people how to do stuff. I didn't know Jesse Jackson was an Omega. I didn't know Charles Drew was an Omega. I didn't know, all these people that were doing stuff in the world around me. They were in a system of other Black men that got around and talked about how to be excellent and how to do certain things a certain way, and just made an impact on my world.
No, that's definitely facts. Because like I said, I would love to live in y'all area. Like I said, all the shows that came out during that time, it was like pure genuine, and like you could tell they genuinely was out here trying to make some or send out a message to educate people. Now I feel like now it's just got either too childish or people just do whatever they want. But don't get me wrong, it's
Yeah,
entertaining. But I'm like I said, it's just you could tell what a factor is. It doesn't change over time because like I said, we're in the new generation, so things get
yeah,
changed.
but I don't. But the thing is, I don't watch any of that stuff, man. Like the Real Housewives, all those reality TV shows, The House, and all. I don't watch any of those because, like you said, it's not genuine. It's you doing it for likes. You're not really giving me a message. You're not helping me learn how to live my life better. You're not telling me how to be a better father, a better husband. You just doing stuff to make likes, and y'all always arguing and fussing. Y'all not even showing yourselves in a good light. So I rarely watch TV, man. I rarely watch TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel myself being that coming that way too, because I feel like there's really nothing to watch on TV for real. It's just like I
Yeah,
said, like really is the TV if you think about it.
yeah. I
Like
go outside, man. Like I said, right now I got some ribs on the smoker. All of my kids and my wife, they outside. They hitting golf balls into a net or sitting in a hammock listening to some music. Like we ain't gonna be inside all day. We're gonna be outside chilling, man, and spending time together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said, between my music, my painting, and all the stuff I do, like I said, I rarely watch TV. If I watch TV, it's intentional. It's like I'm gonna spend this 1 hour watching this show that I want to watch. After that, I'm done.
right.
I'm done. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Like that's definitely key. That's definitely key, especially in a family, quality time, bro. If we don't get that much, and people going off dying like crazy, so you gotta make sure you spend time with your loved ones, because you'll never
Yeah,
know
and that,
be here.
yeah, and that was the other thing about growing up back then. Like right now, I probably got one, two, three. There's probably three TVs in my house. When I was growing up, we had one TV, and it might have been black and white for a time. So guess what? At 8 o'clock, everybody watching the same show on the same TV because ain't nobody going
Same
to their room watch
show.
something else. You're not on your phone going to watch something else. So whatever you watch, your parents approved of it, and y'all watched it together, and then y'all had a conversation about whatever was on
Everybody.
TV. So if the girl on TV got pregnant or the boy went to jail, your parents be asking you, "Yeah, you see how that happened?" Because we all watching it together. So now it's time to have a conversation. But now the kids will watch stuff on their phones. They'll be outside watching TV. You watching TV in here. Nobody watching the same thing. Nobody knows. The kid might be watching an R-rated movie and you watching. I'm like, nah, man. So that has changed a lot too.
Yeah.
The family dynamic of having all this access to media.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Definitely.
I feel like social media should at least shut down at least once a month. At least once a month.
Man, you shut it down.
How I'm gonna do that? How I'm gonna do that? Shut the grid off or something?
Look, there's ways to do it, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. I said I throw my phone in the corner, but my phone also goes on do not disturb between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. You can't reach me. You can't text me. You can't beat me. You can't do nothing on my phone between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. because my phone is on do not disturb.
That's
And guess
right.
what? Even on Instagram and Facebook, it shows your phone as sleep or unavailable. So you can turn it off whenever you feel like it. And that's another thing about Buffalo Soldiers. When I get on my motorcycle and I ride for 6 hours, you can't call me, you can't bother me. I'm in a zone and I'm riding, listening to my music, smoking my cigar, and I'm good.
That's it.
Mhm.
Nah, I should be calling Granny in the middle of the ride. You ask me where she at. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, so you got to turn off social media for yourself, man. Let you rule it. Don't let it rule you, man. Pick your times when you're gonna be on it, when you're not gonna be on it. How much you're gonna let people have access to you, because everybody don't need to have access to you. You have to restrict the people that have access to you and what time they have access to you. Because if not, they're just gonna drain you and they're gonna have you preoccupied with stuff that don't really mean nothing.
Right. That's why mostly like I preoccupy
Yeah.
with myself doing something all the time, so I'm not just in my phone. So like I said, I
Yeah,
get up, get off work, I read the Bible, at least a couple of pages every day, just to get my brain going, gets my knowledge going. Cause like I said, that phone stuff kills. It just kills your mentality. It just kills your motivation to do things. All you want to do is just play on your phone. So yeah, I make sure I keep myself focused. So and something, if I'm not doing nothing, because like I said, I want to be training my mind every second of the day. Because like I said, you gotta stay educated.
Yeah. Now, are all y'all single kids? Y'all got siblings?
Yeah, I got siblings on my dad's
Yeah,
side.
I got four.
One sibling on my dad's side.
Okay. Yeah, so that's also important too, man. So I'm 6 years older than my brother. He and I are the only two that my parents had. But my brother and I are real tight, man. And then my uncle, he's closer to my age, even though he's my dad's brother, because my grandmother got remarried, and so by the time she had my uncle, he and I about the same age, and my dad was about to get married. So my uncle and I grew up like brothers. But between those two guys in my life, man, that gives me a lot of it gives me two people I can talk to and depend on no matter what. So lean into your siblings, man, and develop those relationships.
For sure, for sure. Like I said, I ain't really talked to my siblings growing up, so now every time I get a chance to hang out with them, I make sure I hang out with them. Cause like I said, once people gone, that's all you have to people to look to is your siblings.
Yeah,
So Corey and
but you need somebody that's gonna tell you the
Nick, are
truth.
y'all siblings? Definitely,
What?
definitely. And your siblings gonna they gonna yeah. So Corey and Nick, are y'all uh siblings older, younger, around your age? Was y'all raised with them?
I think they
How
all
was that?
yeah, they all around my age, but like I'm like the middle child out of 13, I want to say. Yeah.
Okay.
My brother 10 months
So
older
I
than me.
only talked to like the first six because the other ones they like real young, so it's like a big age gap after me. So
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, my sons are 2 years apart, even though they're very different. Like I said, they do a lot together, but like I said, one of them is a athlete in football and all that stuff. He's always busy doing something. Then my other son is a computer guy, so he's always inside, but they find time to spend time together, hooping in the garage or outside on the driveway and stuff. But it's just good to have that relationship, man, because like I said, at some point that might be all you have, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Definitely,
no,
definitely.
most definitely, most definitely
Yeah, man. But them sibling relationships can be kind of
tricky too at times.
sometimes when they go astray, man. When those racial relationships kind of go astray, it's kind of tough. Like, and black people, we so egotistical and prideful.
Yeah,
Siblings may go years without even speaking, be 15, 20 minutes in the same city and won't even, you know what I mean. So I'm
yeah,
kind of in the midst of that now. I got four other siblings. I got four siblings. Three of them we all right. I'm tight with them, but it's just one me and one just don't kind of. And I've been kind of working on that, man, because I don't want to, go through my 40s and 50s and like this person is right down the street from me, 20 minutes down the street in my same city, and I'm just like, man, you know what I mean?
yeah,
That's my little
yeah,
sister, you know what I mean? Like that's my look. So I don't want to be
yeah.
like that. So
Yeah.
those
You got
sibling
you got to
relationships can
work
be kind of
you got to
strange.
work on those relationships, man. But the other part of it too, like I said, the world is just different. I grew up around my grandparents, all the time. Back in the day, man, if you and your siblings wasn't getting along, man, they tie you together at the hip and make y'all work together all day.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Make y'all work it out.
Mhm. Yeah,
Make y'all sleep in the
yeah,
same bed. They used to make us do
yeah.
stuff
You ain't had no
together, man, to
choice.
make sure that we would, stick together no matter what.
That's yeah, most definitely, most
So
definitely.
yeah,
But
man,
but
it's
yeah, we
different.
not
It's different
gonna
now, man. It's
anything
different.
you else you wanna plug in before we get you out here? We ain't gonna take up the time to get you back to your family.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna get back down here on this grill, man, because my oldest stepdaughter just came through, so I'm in no rush. I got four women down there I need to deal with when I get off. Um,
No doubt.
but man, like I said, man, just like I said, man, be true to yourself, man, and don't worry about being corny, being different. Being different is what's gonna make you stand out. Like I said, I was always drawing something or painting something. People told me I wasn't gonna make no money as an artist and all this other stuff, man. But it made room for me, man. And now, like I said, people see me and they're like, wow, I can't believe you do all that stuff, man. But I just kept doing the things that were good for me. And I surround myself with people that are like-minded and want to do the same things I do. So you guys getting together, man, I just applaud you for it. Finding a way to just sit down and talk with each other and, talk about real issues, man, because it's needed in your life and you'll be able to help somebody else along the way that maybe don't have anybody. I'm still excited at 55 when I sit around some of them old dudes, man, they be 70, 80 years old and they tell me stuff, man. I just took it all in, man, because I still got a little bit of time to go. And they still let me know that, hey,
Yeah.
man, you can do this, you can do that. I'm like, man, but I'm 55. They're like, so what, man? I'm 80. You might have another 25 years in you. Keep doing what you're doing, man, and
Yeah.
watch it work.
Mm-hmm.
Most
Yeah.
definitely.
So, man,
Just love
yes,
to
I
know.
just applaud you guys, man. Keep it up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We only
We
going off.
appreciate you, man. We appreciate you. All the younger guys, they call me Unc, man. You know what I mean? So I know you're a little older than me. My name is Fox. The younger guys they call me Unc or whatnot. It's nice to meet you, big dog. We'll on a later note, man, we're gonna have to get your contact or whatnot from Nick, and then we'll go from there. And we'll go, I'll be in contact with you,
Yeah,
man. And I gotta
I'm about to bring y'all
expedite
to one of the
anything, I'll
events
reach
next
out.
time, man. I'm about to bring y'all.
yeah, like
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
like I said, Nick know I'm cool, man. Like I said, and if y'all want to come to a Buffalo Soldier event, definitely come, man. There's a lot of older guys that are retired, some from the military, some not. I sit down and listen to them, man, and they tell me a lot of stuff all the time. And like I said, I'm always open, man. Like I said, if y'all want to get together sometime, man, break bread, have a cookout at the crib, man. Look, y'all come hang out with me anytime. That's what I'm all about.
For sure, for sure.
No
We'll
doubt. No
definitely
doubt.
take
We
you up on that
appreciate
offer
you,
one
big
of these
dog.
days
We
once we get
appreciate you.
everybody back in here because
Thank you.
they don't like I said, I've been telling them since I was a kid, I've been soaking up knowledge from y'all every time my green bring me around you. When I was messing up in trouble or something, you always had me doing something on the grill, doing something. So yeah, I really appreciate that, and I just really appreciate you being on here and coming on here and telling your story and just giving us knowledge, man. I appreciate it because like it's different, something different, something different. So I'm trying to do
Yeah.
something and I just want to get you on here because like I said, you the first special guest, so it's something special.
All right.
We
But yeah, that's
appreciate it.
gonna
So
be
cool,
Appreciate it,
man.
big dog.
this episode, y'all. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I appreciate y'all coming on here talking, like I said, it's a Saturday, man. We ain't been on here in a little minute, so we had to come back and reconcile. But once we'll get everybody back in here, they'll be back in here soon. But like I said, appreciate you, man, for coming in here and talking with us. We're gonna get you out of here, man.
All
Until
right.
next time, all
Yes,
glory to
sir.
God. We'll see y'all in the next
All
Yes,
right.
episode.
Y'all be easy, man.
yes, sir.
You too.
Thank you, brother.
All
Y'all
right.
boys be safe, man.
Later.
Yeah.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Later.